Hello, everybody, and today we are going to talk about the Pea Leaf Weevil. They're from the order Coleoptera and the family Curculeonidae, and they're pretty cute at first glance, but they're actually an invasive pest that crops in Canada. We're going to learn more about that in this video. So their distinguishing morphological features, you can see the adult here. They are of a grayish brown coloring, and they've got three stripes on the dorsal side of the thorax, running from the anterior to the posterior side, or vice versa. And they can sometimes extend on to the forewing, so that'll be longitudinally, and that is going to be what differentiates them from other species in their genus. They also have four coxal cavities, about right here, that are in very close proximity to a narrow groove on the prosternum, which is also going to differentiate them from other species in their genus. They also have biting and chewing mouth parts. They're about 5 millimeters, so they're really tiny. They have sclerotized elytra as forewings and membranous hindwings. The larva, as you can see here, they are that light white, creamy color. They have a dark brown head capsule, and they are C-shaped and fleshy. They also have biting and chewing mouth parts, and they are grub-like, but they are apod, so they don't have any legs. The pupa are going to also be that milky white color, and they're going to look like mummified little dudes. They are excoridaceous, which means that they cannot move any appendages or mouth parts while they are in their pupa. The eggs are going to be smooth and glossy and also very tiny, so about 0.36 millimeters, and they are going to come out milky white, and then after 24 hours, they are going to myelinize and turn jet black. So this is a picture of the complete life cycle, and the biology and life cycle of the weevil is what we're going to be talking about in this slide. So they have one generation per year in Alberta, and therefore they must enter diapause because we have a very cold winter here in Canada. They overwinter in the adult stage in alfalfa and other perennial legumes like inside the crop. And the adults are going to be active from July to August during the warmest times of the day. So that's going to be about 12 degrees in spring, and then later on in the summer about 24 degrees. And they are going to feed on the host plant's leaf margins, or the new growth of the plants from the time they emerge till about the 6th node stage. That they will eat all the leaves they can get their mandibles on. So the eggs will be oviposited by the female, and the females will oviposit 354 to 1,655 eggs, which is an oddly specific number. And they will do this 5 to 24 times per day. They will oviposit while they are eating. So as they're walking around eating, they'll be ovipositing. And so the eggs will be scattered in the soil loose. They will be placed in soil on or near juvenile plants, and females will be ovipositing from May to June. And the larva will feed on the nodules made by Rhizobium, which is a nitrogen-fixing bacteria on plants' roots. That will be when the larva is active from late June and July in the early flowering stage of the plant. So that will be while the plant most needs to fix nitrogen for its growth. The larva will have 5 instars, and then they will pupate in the soil. So the distribution of the weevil, and it's written like this, probably not of a coincidence. So it's weevil because they're evil and they will eat your crops. They are native to Europe and invasive to Canada. So they were first found in Canada near Victoria, BC in 1935, but they weren't a problem back then. They only became an issue more recently, where they started to spread around Alberta and eat our peas, not the peas, the pea crops. And then that was in the early 2000s. And then in about 2007, you can see here in the map, it started to become a bit of an issue around Lethbridge. And they started to move into Saskatchewan. You can see here in 2014, it became a bit more significant of an issue, and they started to really take reins in Saskatchewan. And then the most recent map will be from 2019, and you can see it's green, which is good, mostly in control, but it is pests that we have to keep a close watch on because they will resurface every year and then slowly start to take over. They are spread pretty thoroughly throughout Alberta and Saskatchewan. And those are the only two provinces where it's really an issue. All right, so for host and damage, the adults prefer to feed on the green leaf tissue of field pea and faba bean, so on the leaves. And you can see here in the picture, it is a little weevil making a notch on a pea leaf. But they will move on to secondary leguminous host plants if need be. But the larvae have only been known to complete their development on the preferred plants, so the field pea and the faba bean. The larvae, they feed on the nodules of plants, so on the roots. Plants have specifically field pea and faba bean I'll be talking about. They have a symbiotic relationship with a nitrogen fixing bacteria that will help the plants fix nitrogen, which they need for growth, and the larvae feed on this. This is actually way worse for the plant than just feeding on the leaves because by doing this, they inhibit nitrogen fixation, and that results in an enormous loss in yield and quality of the crops that they feed on. So field pea yields $1.5 million annually in Canada. They are a really good source of protein for humans and animals, and we benefit greatly from being able to produce peas in agriculture. And so having this pest affect those yields can be really detrimental to agriculture here in Canada. They are a perennial pest because they feed on a variety of different perennial legumes, and they will resurface annually. In the study that Vankowski did, weather conditions did not affect the population of weevils in the spring, but I would assume that warmer, wet conditions are favorable for the crop. Therefore, the warmer, wet conditions should be more favorable for the weevil as well, because the weevils like the nice, green, healthy plants. They use sweep netting by means of monitoring the amounts in the ecosystem, but the weevils will play dead, which makes this a little bit difficult. They did use pitfall traps, which was effective. It just requires for the person monitoring the traps to be able to identify the weevils, and pheromone monitoring also works in that way. So this was the weevil. These are the references. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.